All right, here is my garden update for July 26, 2026. So, we are looking at, excuse me, my four cucumber plants that I planted on June 2nd. So, about 55 days. I have already harvested 4 cucumbers from this pot, and as you can see, there are some new cucumbers quickly coming along, and more than likely they'll be ready in probably another 2 weeks, if that, because they have been growing fast. This one has not produced any cucumbers yet, but I am beginning to see some female flowers get pollinated. So I'm hoping that we'll probably have our first harvest for this one in about a week and a half to 2 weeks as well. Coming over this way, I just planted some zinnias, just a few seeds for this pot right there. That is the basket I like to use to harvest. My son likes to come out and spray me down with that contraption. I also planted some radishes today on July 26th. I am using a Dollar Tree basket that my husband has drilled holes into the bottom, and then that I have placed landscape fabric in before planting. Then back here I have my sweet bell pepper. I picked this up from Lowe's on sale for $4. Today I added a marigold in there just as a companion plant. I can see little buds at the top beginning to show, so hopefully within the next month we'll have our first sweet peppers. This is my beautiful zinnia that I got from Lowe's a few weeks ago. It is growing by leaps and bounds. Today we had an amazing butterfly visitor today, and he or she stayed on this plant for about an hour back and forth, and it was beautiful to watch. This back here is my Japanese eggplant. It came with 2 small eggplants. I pruned one. This one is growing pretty well, and I'm starting to finally see some flower buds, so we should have some more beginning. I've got 4 cow peas, aka black eyed peas, back here. They're growing really well too. Starting to create a little canopy with some of the taller, larger leaves. And over here, my son and I planted some carrots today. They're not gonna be ready until October. This is not the deepest pot, but we should have some nice size carrots. I'll take it. More zinnias to attract pollinators. These are my struggle bushes, red raspberry and thornless blackberry here. Really, this is just to nurse them. I'm gonna dig up holes, plant them in the late fall, and hope to really start seeing them take off next spring. Over here are my yellow squash. This is a 30-gallon pot that they're in. Really only one should be in here, but at first it took a long time for her to come up, so I started planting some more. So this week I'm going to take those 4 seedlings out. So if you want some yellow squash, they'll still be ready sometime in September. Let me know. This is my zucchini plant. My mommy gave me this mesh bag, and she is doing well. Trying to make sure I protect her from the squash borers and bugs. And there's a marigold that's also companion planting with her. I've got some strawberries down here that one of my former co-workers gave me. They have begun to trail and bloom, and their leaves are just a beautiful shade of green. I'm so excited for these. I believe they're June berries, so they're not going to be ready until next year as well, but we're going to keep them going. So my strawberries, my blackberries, and my red raspberry, I'm hoping to put into like a certain area of my backyard, and we will begin harvesting them next year. Over here are my 2 cherry tomato plants. I planted these as seedlings in June. As you can see, there are some cherry tomatoes. Now I'm in zone 7B. It's been incredibly hot here for the last 2 weeks. We've had some historic heat waves. So I'm learning that cherry tomatoes do not like to produce the chemical that turns them from the green to the beautiful red when they're really hot. Today and this week, the weather's coming down, so I'm hoping that some of these will begin to turn. They are continuing to build fruit though, grow fruit. I have some here. I have some tiny ones up here. There's lots of yellow flowers. So they are doing incredibly well. I just want them to turn red so we can eat them. This is my all sweet red watermelon, and they are going to be ready the end of September, third week of September. So we still got a lot of time for these, but it just started flopping over and beginning to vine, as you can see, probably last week. So I'm excited for its growth, and she gets lots of water every single day. And come along to this side, and we have 2 leek plants. One of my gardening sisters gifted this to me 2 weeks ago when we had a storm and my tomato plants fell over and I was just distraught. So I planted these today. I like to use a mix of potting mix, compost, perlite, vermiculite, however you say that, and worm casting. So for every container you see, that typically is what my mix looks like. So we planted these today. I love leeks. They taste really good, sauteed with some garlic and butter and some seasonings, or even baked in the oven. We have some kale here that we planted. I think I planted about 5 or 6 seeds, and then I also companion planted and put some marigolds around this as well. So this is a fall crop that we're getting in the pots today, hoping that they begin to really take off by September. This is my okra. Now, as you can see this date, I planted her on July 11th. Today is July 26th. All right, nothing. And this is my second attempt. Now, the first time I realized, because I'm a first-time gardener, that I forgot to take off the saucer at the bottom. So I thought the soil was getting trapped. It's been off since July 11th and nothing. I'm trying to resist the urge to put my hands in there and try to see if anything germinated, but I'm going to give it another week now that the weather is changing and getting a little bit cooler, and when she gets some nice rainfall. I also changed its location to a really sunny spot of my backyard. My backyard has like a woodland looking feel because of all of the tree up here that create a canopy, and then this area is very sunny over here. That's my hubby over there. Say hi, Drew. He's not paying attention. He's cleaning out our hot tub. Today I also planted some Swiss chard. I'm excited for these. I think I did the same thing as I did with the kale. So I've got a few seedlings in the middle and then some marigolds around the rim. The marigolds attract beneficial pollinators, and they just look beautiful amongst the greenery. So I'm excited for this, another fall crop. Now this is my cauliflower. I was excited for her, but then I realized she's only going to produce 1 head. So I have more seeds, and I might do 1 or 2 more baskets of cauliflower so that I can have at least 3 harvests this fall. I believe I also did the same thing with the marigolds. So the seeds are in the middle, and the marigolds are around the end. My little Dollar Tree laundry baskets, $1.25, wrapped with some landscape fabric, so much easier. I'm calling this area my herb garden. At the base I have my mint. I made a trade on Facebook Marketplace with a local fellow gardener for some of my other seedlings and got this mint. We have used it so much to make mint tea, iced mint tea as well as hot mint tea. My son and I love it. I gave some to my mother-in-law yesterday. She loved it. It's so good. Sometimes my son just picks off pieces. My mom's done this too and just chewed it because it's so refreshing. This is a sage plant. I can tell, so I got this as a trade as well off of Facebook Marketplace. I can tell that the person dug this up. It had such a huge root cap, and so I repotted her today to make sure that that full ball is underground. I think long term, if she continues to grow, she might need to be either separated or planted in the ground. This right here is my oregano. A former co-worker who gave me the strawberries also gave me some oregano as well as some thyme. I've repotted them. The oregano was not doing well, but since then I have trimmed the tops and pruned them back a bit, and they're starting to bud. I even see some growth at the soil, so I'm excited for that. This is my basil. I probably need to repot her because she's growing a lot. I don't use basil much, but I love the smell. So when I make some tomato sauce, when I'm doing any type of Italian dish for dinner, I'm going to use the basil. I've also seen people make basil salt and things of that nature, so I might experiment with that. We talked about my thyme. It was leaning to the left. I've since repotted it and placed it in the center and given it some more potting mix. I'm hoping that it starts to center itself. Next to it, we have lavender and lemongrass. My homegirl who came to my rescue when I was distraught also gifted me this lavender as well as this lemongrass. I trimmed some of the leaves of the lemongrass recently. And the lavender, I think I'm going to make some lavender tea out of it. And I'm also going to explore some medicinal purposes with it, seeing if I can make a tincture of some sort or essential oils. But it smells beautiful. Purple is my favorite color, so I'm glad to have it in my herb garden. And my lemongrass, all of your Thai Asian dishes, lemongrass is used a lot. It brightens up the chicken and seafood. But what I believe is that I've only cooked with lemongrass once. It is the root that you kind of slice like a green onion that has that lemongrass smell to it. Right here is my baby spinach. I've already harvested this maybe a week ago for dinner when I was making some chicken Alfredo. And it grew back so quickly. I believe I'm going to plant 1 or 2 more seeds in here. I'm also going to use one of my large Dollar Tree baskets that I still have to plant my own basket just for spinach, because we eat it a lot. And then next to it's an experiment. I took a shallot, I love shallots, from my garden, from my kitchen, and planted it. And so apparently when those green tops turn brown and die off, the shallots should be ready. So I'm hoping when I dig these up, they're in about a 9-inch deep planter that will have some shallots there. Over here is a sweet potato slip. One of my former college mates who still lives in the area and I exchanged information on Facebook in one of our gardening groups, and I gave him a sweet watermelon actually seedling, and he gifted me the sweet potato slip as well as the thornless blackberry. So I'm going to add so much more soil to this. I just wanted her to get roots to just start, but I think she's going to get transplanted back in the same pot, because I'm going to top this whole thing off with potting mix, put her back in, and just let her rest. She gets watered, but the goal is when we dump this before the first frost, there will be some sweet potatoes in here, which will be great for the holiday season. I got some free hay and some free wood chips off of Facebook Marketplace. Hopefully you noticed the theme. I want to feed my family organic, homegrown food that I'm producing. I'm a nurturer by nature, and I just want my family to grow nice, strong, and healthy, and for us to have our own. But I am doing that thing on a budget, okay? Because we are a family of 4. So I absolutely love to trade things with other gardeners from different groups and friends, to find things for free on Facebook Marketplace, to also sell things on there or post them as well, to make this as economically sound as possible. Over here we have some sugar daddy peas that I planted today, and I got this bamboo arch off of Facebook Marketplace for free, so they may begin to attach to that or just help them stand up and climb as they get to the trellis. Over here, bush beans. So this is kind of like my bean section. So we got some bush beans over here. They're going to be in a big bush, but I might use some twine to tie them to the trellis, the bamboo trellis, as they start producing the beans if they need it to help with the weight of the pods. I've got some pole beans here. They have been planted since, let's see, June 30th. There's about 3 or 4 seedlings that took root. It's already started its process of wrapping on the trellis, so you can see a little piece back there, and there's some on the other side. So I'm really excited for these. I'm excited for them to kind of really like take over the wall and to have some beautiful foliage as well as flowers. My daughter, baby girl, planted this today. So we did 3 things in here, companion plants. This is just a pollinator planter box. So in the back we're going to have some sunflowers, and then there's a mix of zinnias and marigolds that will be in the front, and it should grow really tall and just look really beautiful against this landscape for September, October time. And that concludes this week's update. Now let me tell you, I started this garden on July 2nd with a couple cucumber seeds, 2 little small tomato seedling plants, and some kale, which didn't make it, so we're trying to get it as it's getting cooler. And I never thought that in 55-ish days I would go to here, but this is where I am. And when I tell you, this thing brings me so much peace, so much joy, just the relaxation and being with nature, seeing birds, seeing the bees, seeing the butterflies. I just love it. So we'll see where we go from here. There's a whole area over there, and I still have some crops that are on my to-do list, but easy does it.